You've just seen the stat pop up there, 70% win rate when it comes to their opponent's map picks for Team Heretics. And of course, this is Fnatic's pick. Let's see if that stat is going to be hurt and harmed here today. As Fnatic on the defense, getting aggressive, and it's kaajak with a double opening. The flash helped him out for the second, but the first was all him. A little bit of space taken by Heretics in response, but a 5v2 that they're now left in.
Yeah, I think they did the exact same thing in the pistol versus Liquid, this aggressive defensive side push. And has left MiniBoo in an almost impossible position, but bear in mind kaajak low. And MiniBoo, when you talk about statistics, when you talk about ACS, this has been the guy throughout the season that's been able to take rounds home in scenarios that never should have been. With this crossfire should be impossible, but the first one comes cleanly. The next two might be a little bit tougher.
Yeah, there's still some room for this to swing back in the favor of Team Heretics. A strong squad when it comes to that pistol round win rate. See if it can be converted by the crossfire in play. Chronicle's contact and the swing from crashies down below. In fact,
yeah, they have so much of the information.
Here's the danger.
They're even going to steal an orbital too, but I think they're very aware of the few spots on the map that could be less. Saying that, RieNs is the first to take a jewel, but Chronicle at range should have them dead to rights. Obviously not wanting to overface, but here's the steps coming and just farming up those orbs. Eventually he's going to get overwhelmed though, and this could be a problem. That's now the rifle. Look at the guns that are left for Fnatic. They've only got the pistols remaining. One comes up for Alfajer, but this has all fallen apart.
Boaster's got a chance. Still going to hurt the economy, but
on the edge of the cam. I don't think Benji's going to have any idea that he's here. And it's not the prettiest of shots, but kaajak is still standing.
Somehow, yeah, he gets there in the end. Alfajer above the smoke onto MiniBoo, and now the numbers in Fnatic's favor. The weaponry there, the ult's online, and it's the neural theft finding the information. Big swing from kaajak. Shots, though, just not landing. And a Rolling Thunder in response is going to slow down that main take. Woot still flying under the radar up top. They've not spotted him. Chronicle may well have heard those steps as he swung out wide, and with Boo tagged low, this round can easily fall apart for Heretics. It's a brave stand out in the middle of the open. And he will find one on low HP. That's as solid as you could hope for, but Woot being rooted leaves RieNs alone. The last man standing, players all around, but he isolates it to just Chronicle. The time ticking, and it's already gone.
Easy he made that look.
Top of the other team is Alfajer's former teammate, looking on as his friend of old outshines him here at least to start out Fracture. Heretics, 70% of times they play an opponent's map, they steal it away. Alpha fired up inside of main. He finds the opening. He's dancing through the smokes, but eventually he will fall. The weaker weapons that are left in this round still managing to pack quite a punch. Boaster's taken down one. The numbers are somehow in Fnatic's favor. Damage is done too. And now the players are coming back up through main. This south side push from A main, well, it bought them a bit of space. But that orbital strike takes it right back into Heretics' favor. 2v3.
Yeah, he'd normally want to save that for the post, but they desperately needed that extra space. With Armageddon available, well, not anymore. Benji will win the fight that takes the ult out. Even still, an immediate trade, but this allows Boo back into those post-plant scenarios. We've seen this many a time. It might actually get an early fight. Chronicle has managed to slip the net into the close corner. I don't know if he's going to check it whatsoever. Make sure they don't get anything for free.
Camera taken out.
MiniBoo, someone we talked about confidence issues in the past, wanting to see him get off to a good start. Of course, up against kaajak, he has been shut down in week 5 when they played each other. It was the kaajak show. Now his opportunity for redemption up against the man himself. benjyfishy is caught in the corner, finds himself one anyways, and a little bit of extra info. Cage trying to keep himself alive. RieNs at least able to trade it out, keeping favor in Team Heretics camp, but the spike still needs to be planted. And crashies is here waiting for that cross. For now though, it seems like they might be expecting the rotation. Alfajer steps away from the site, leaves crashies alone, and maybe they don't want this fight. Heretics could get a free plant. In fact, they get a free pick onto Alfajer. I don't think those shots were meant for him.
This leaves crashies all available, but chance of victory slim. Ultimate probably not wanting to be expended unless he can find a quick pick. And just look how far back this rotation is already going from Woot, knowing that soon he'll have the salvos available. time that he can buy, but everybody else who faced MiniBoo was not. Boaster's another highlight as well. He's had a good season individually, but struggled when it came to this matchup, maybe having to focus a little bit more with how aggressive some of these plays can be. Chronicle, though, ready and waiting. Always been one of his best maps over on Fracture. And for now, at least, they have the opening advantage.
Oh, that timing perfect on the swing. Alfajer took a while to get there. He's a little quicker swinging onto Boo, though. benjyfishy only got one last round. He wasn't happy with that. Steps up for a second, but not quite the third. It's Alfajer to take it across the line, putting just RieNs up against the rest. They know exactly where he is. He's tripping wires. He's caught by the ult, and now he's in a fight.
Choice. They'd be strong in it. Pace change, though, coming in. And wow, Alfajer, he's been at the right place at the right time, dominating that B site. This time swaps to A, and already that's MiniBoo gone again.
We already mentioned, you know, early on, it was his former teammate RieNs, the one putting up those numbers, but Alpha very much leading the charge on the server in these last couple rounds. And on the scoreboard, as we see more bodies thrown at that site, they'll finally deal with him, but the reinforcements are here. Players covering all the angles from sand. Some more brazen plays surely around the corner. Big stun on the Boaster. He's going to be caught again by MiniBoo. Opening duel goes his way, but he's caught by Chronicle. Trade back, and it's only pistols now. That ultimate was the one thing to bridge the gap. The weapon inside that cage maybe can help them out. And there it is, finally recovered by benjyfishy. Now they've got a rifle in their hands. They've got a potential plant to fake.
Absurd amount of space to be had by kaajak. Could definitely create some awkwardness with an operator. He needs to land the immediate shot. Benji gets a kill on the other side, but kaajak is well aware. Another for RieNs, though. And again, both teams have had relative success with these lower purchases, with both players now having guns, with a Rolling Thunder available. It's going to come down to the timing of what kaajak can get.
It was a crazy cerebral round from Heretics to fake back to A, late play into B, but now they've got to finish their dinner. Left down to just the operator of kaajak, damage done to Benji. Well, it's materializing in front of her. A much more passive approach to this B site. Again, though, that comes off the back of seeing these ultimates, expecting an Armageddon to clear exactly the space that it's going into. No one needs to move on FNATIC. They were already set up for this. Those spams come desperately close to taking someone down. But in the end, FNATIC survived behind those smokes. In fact, Boaster gets in front of them, hoping that Boo will make a mistake. Denying this plant, though, seems too big a task. Boaster's pushed out. Big orbital strike.
Yeah, you think they're not going to ult the same place twice, but clearly realizing that that ground had been retaken, they will now get themselves a pick off that orbital strike. And finally, that plant will come in. Retreat should be impossible, but actually, Boo manages to get away. There are a lot of tag players, though. benjyfishy looking to hold on to the cross. RieNs already eliminated by Alfajer, putting things back into that 4v4 scenario, and now looking to try and clear things together. They need to get this close position out, though, and MiniBoo's just looking to try and survive in the corner, just dancing with death, but he survives all the way back around. And while trying to clear him, that spike has been slowly ticking away. Chronicle with another. The trade's coming back and forth, but still the attack have the time on their side, and with the salvos buying an extra few seconds at a peak, able to come from either side, but kaajak manages to land both shots!
They were off to a good start, but disruption early on from Heretics has slowed down. And now it could be FNATIC's time to shine. Big pick for kaajak early. That dish control working wonders, and the response on the other side is to try to push Boaster. Try and fail.
Already ultimate thrown in, both players hit. Woot just trying to survive at the back of the site, and they know exactly where he is, clinging desperately to life. There should be no way out of this round for the side of Heretics, with Boaster adding his third.
From FNATIC early, sending crashies through to break that camera, leaving Alpha on north side, and now taking advantage of the space as they heard that A main crunch. They heard a lot of utility, they heard steps, so they know there's space, and Alpha has just walked out of heaven, taken down Voot with ease, and the B site open for the plant. Boaster gets a little too aggressive, punished forward, expecting a gap, and there certainly was not one there. But a 4v4 post plant for FNATIC as a result. The camera even spotting this two-man north side push. A lot of information now for that attacking side to work with.
They managed to at least reclaim the ramp And Alfie already picking off Benji. This is looking like a second pistol potentially going their way. They're going to have one of these fights going their way. And in fact, it's gone completely wrong, RieNs though. Never count him out. The salvos will buy that extra time. That's a bigger issue. He was hoping to force players in. He's actually clipped it. And now an aftershock as well. The two players. Clear timing here for Woot. It's going to be absolutely everything. If he gets this pick, it could be a problem, but kaajak has been an unstoppable force so far in this map, and now just sells a ruse. You see the aggression going through on that top side of the map, making that realization that, okay, they're going to A. Let's start clearing out the other side, and now the smokes fall, and they are nowhere to be seen.
They already got rid of that camera early on inside B main, so it's not to be worried about. RieNs dealt with. He was already so desperately low. Boo ahead of the curve, but Chronicle still picks him up. Now just one away from that Rolling Thunder and one pick away from putting double digits on the board. There's Rolling Thunder online one way or another. And MiniBoo doesn't stand the greatest chance of taking this across the line. I don't know how far away crashies is from those salvos, but I think they'll be online fairly soon, even as MiniBoo continues to chip away at this task. It's like Atlas, it will never end. Certainly not in his favor, as the players continue to be picked off. Salvos come online, time keeps ticking, and it's still not halfway.
The other side, you've got the aggressive peak coming up, but Woot's definitely been having a struggle so far on this Teo. Someone we know that normally individually sound has not won a lot of these opening fights, but will take Boaster out. The orbital strike gone, and so are the smokes.
Hasn't deterred them. Salvos force players to the open, the smoke shielding them for now. Alfajer picked off going up into heaven, and now, well, even orbital strike committed. 5 versus 3, 25 seconds on the clock when that ult is taken out. I'm a little surprised. The respect being shown, perhaps for good reason, but they drop kaajak right away. 10 seconds, salvos to deny, and the round is already done. If this spike makes it down, I will be very surprised indeed. And I suppose it does make it down onto the floor, but not planted. Chronicle to save his weapon, and a round under pressure anytime now. An ultimate put into play. kaajak on his way straight through. There it is activated. But MiniBoo's the first to draw blood. It's Benji under the pressure as predicted. MiniBoo to fall as well. Numbers kept even, but the attack side has space. Rolling Thunder keeps the spike in the defender's hands. They've got it dropped in towards main for now, but Alfajer with a quick double puts this one to bed, smoking off the spike and taking it from under RieNs' nose. And now a 1 versus 3. A big play coming in as well. Down below, you can see that Alpha is lurking, making his way around to close this out from behind. RieNs worried about the players in May. Now he's got an idea, though. Alpha taking their map pick.
He's had so many high-impact rounds throughout this matchup so far. Took his teammates to sort of get him into position, but then just swings versus 2, both players alongside ultimate for MiniBoo. It feels like they've almost put all their eggs in one basket. He's dead immediately. Alfajer again with the opener.
I was saying earlier, you can't take anything away from him. His utility so important here on the attack, but now he's starting to claim a name for himself with the gun in hand. I think just one behind kaajak in terms of frags. Mike just matched up there. Benji down on the ground, and the dominoes all falling in favor of FNATIC. Boo even lost on that south side push. There's almost nothing to fall back on here. They've at least dealt with Alfajer, but let's be honest, there's very little when it comes to weakness here on the FNATIC side. I think Boaster 1 away from having, in fact, there it is, the same amount of kills as the last time these two met in a series. Us off, but it's FNATIC who are taking some space, some ground, the two being pushed, but Heretics are ready. benjyfishy watching that alongside Boo, and they'll find the opening pick as a result. They even suspect that he wasn't alone, but crashies bides his time. Unfortunately, Alpha's isolated. He's still alive. 1 shot left, and he'll be executed from behind. Does well, though, to find his 1 there. Still a disadvantage for FNATIC.
Alfajer playing yellow and only getting 1 kill. Can't believe it. Thought he'd have at least 2. Boaster under serious pressure. Wingman can get the plant in, and well, that gives the space for the others to push. They've spotted crashies flank, and both players on FNATIC completely isolated. Both pistols went their way in the last map. It got them that extra little bonus of a start. And well, maybe this one still has some legs in it. 2 quick kills.
Where has this hope come from? Oh, the stun perfect though. Chronicle gonna be caught out. RieNs the one to take him down, and now crashies all alone. And they're lined up. The high-low setup almost isolates one. The shot's not quite landing. 4, 3, 2 bullets left, and he's out. The reload they'll swing on, but that's a mistake. Unfortunately,
Last man left behind, but
oh, here it is. Thank you very much, EVS. Yes, it was. His own wingman got him. That's criminal. That's criminal. Look by Benji, back by Boo. It's not been abandoned completely.
30 seconds left.
there's a jiggle peek coming in through mid, and I think that with no execution of that utility, that fake was not the greatest sold. No one's really fallen for that, but there isn't much in terms of denial. They've already used some of that extra utility, and instead it's a slightly different plant. The wingman's been dropped. 12 seconds. Now that attack side has to get moving. They need to move forward and get somebody to try and plant that spike, and the fights are not going their way. Still yet to find a plant, and within the last second they're going to attempt it, but there are players peeking in. The plant
Show tail so that hopefully somebody goes for that mid-aggression. In the end, it doesn't really come through. You could consider what we just saw from Chronicle there, kind of.
But look at where they pushed to, though. Like, Benji just got killed from a guy all the way up, deep in towards that A side of the map, but luckily there's been a response. Again, the goal on this side has always been to delay, but MiniBoo has decided, you know what, I'm not going to give them that opportunity. I'm going to try and get up in their face. Plant will go down. Armageddon a little bit further up behind, was hoping to force them forward, but with the space already taken by MiniBoo, they weren't too wary about it. Still looking to hold on to that backline. kaajak is the snake in the grass, the second layer to this rotation, and it seems like at this stage, the attack are completely unaware that there is another player coming in from behind.
But they have no idea. And now even less so, looking for that retake, looking for the fight. Alpha, 8 HP. All hope may rest on kaajag's head, but he manages to find one. Alpha buys that little bit of space, the wall. No. Get them across the line. Pistols for FNATIC, a light buy across the board. And it's Alpha.
Yeah, we'll get some of his health back. Live to fight another day, and MiniBoo's being left behind. It's mainly, again, because this secondary lurk, this additional player of Boo, has taken a lot of space over on that A site. The problem, though, is that they are losing members. A 5 versus 3. Drone from crashies just waiting, knowing that there was a guy on the other side, and now I'm going to just try and slow them down as the full force of FNATIC looks to rotate into this side of the map.
This could be a strong start to the attacking side, but they're being chipped away at by FNATIC early on. A chance remaining for the defensive side, an early flank yet again. Guess who it is? kaajak wrapping up behind, hasn't been spotted. And there's presence being shown by FNATIC, but they haven't committed just yet. Those weaker weapons, hesitant to take the fight. Will Heretics worry about their back in time? No, they won't. kaajak strikes, picks off the first. They're managing to hold the line against the onslaught from spawn. kaajak, the man with the rifle, buys time, grabs their attention.
Times where, well, firstly, that shot's just absurd.
Come on.
But the second they realize that Benji is gone, they go, okay, well, we can now flank. We can get in behind them without too many issues. And I do feel like that's happened a few times now where Heretics are from FNATIC, and something that Heretics have to adapt to.
Yeah, it was the A push that managed to find him earlier, and then just a mid-hold. This time, the push from A is in Heretics' favor. They're running it down towards kaajak. No flank this time. He's dealt with after one, and Heretics finding these close-range 1v1s, XV1s in fact. They've managed to recover themselves some rifles. And look at the space on B.
Yeah, this has been another thing to talk about, is that the amount of space they've been able to get on B at times has been intentional, and there's been just util thrown in to delay. But this round was just a single rifle for the side of Heretics. And MiniBoo's done incredibly well. Like him and Benji both finding a pick, both getting rifles for Benji and Woot, and then the space that's been taken on the other side. Because it looks like an eco-direct hit into A, they now get the post-plant that's been eluding them. And FNATIC now have to try and clear everything else that remains.
Man, Boo's been so patient. He waited in this corner with a classic, hoping that there was someone close enough by that he could punish. And in the end, he's forced back by this lockdown. Won't have his reward, won't be able to get back into position either. The snake bite, though, lands in time to delay. buying that little bit more time. Oh, it's actually a little gap in it. They'll walk right past it, so a little bit more space taken. Boaster closer than expected already, wrapping around on yellow. Those recovered rifles now in with a chance. Alpha baits them into the open, takes down the double. Boaster with another.
Here comes the TikTok plays from kaajak. A cheeky wall put into position, and you're not going to expect it. That MiniBoo gone already. And there's not really anything he can do about that. You'd have to pre-fire every single angle on the map to find that kill.
Yeah, I think that boost has been around almost as long as TikTok. kaajak happy to take it out here. You haven't seen it for a long time though, right? Just with the lack of Sage being put into play. Sure, we'll get the one around mid a little bit later on. For now, that one was more than enough to find the early advantage. Hunter's Fury thrown through. Chronicle's desperately low, but he dodges both blasts that come his way. The op, although it's looking for the pick, it won't find Wingman. The plant in play.
This is clear.
Crash. Oh, it's got a lot of space and forcing the fights as they're
13-10. And right now, after a 13-6 victory in the other direction, they are being pressured. MiniBoo desperately searching for space to hide in, and while he might have found some space, but his teammate in RieNs did not.
Doesn't. They may be in a 5v3 very soon.
And time also becomes an issue. 2 slows and the wall available. They're walking straight into that crosshair, but MiniBoo is going to find the trade. At least it's not another flawless. We're not getting the 3-peat of its own flawlesses, but that's a bit of a silver lining. benjy's done well. Chronicle down. Still the salvos coming into play. crashies has got to be the most irritating Teo to play against with the timing. Wu has found some space. Unexpected, not known, but start.
It's feeling like deja vu going back to Fracture. RieNs stepping back just a little too far. The snake bite forcing him to be a little more cautious, but mistake made and quick reactions by Boaster to trade out right now, and the grand final seemingly locked in. Big changes needed, but Heretics call a pause to seek out those answers. Another opening duel for FNATIC. This time,
they don't want to give the game away just yet.
Gonna let them fully commit their hand so they can't turn back. Here goes the ult, and now the flank from FNATIC shows its full hand. One player goes back to deal with him, but there's actually 2 players on the flank, and they find out the hard way. benjy at least able to pick off Chronicle. The players now awaiting on site. I say players, it's just one. It's Boo, isolated. But he has managed to fly under the radar. A free pick on Boaster and Alfajer. Here's the round they needed. Even the lockdown committed and denied. kaajak, you've been sublime so far, but a little more needed. There's the pick and the res, and that brings them right back into the round.
And you finally managed to deal with Alfajer, and someone brings him back to life. Counter lockdown going to be put into play. The round so much more important than anything else. Alfajer actually looking to try and play ahead of it, and he'll be dealt with by RieNs. And while there's not a lot of time, firmly in FNATIC's favor. This A site has been a struggle. A lot of it has come down to delay. The amount that can be slowed off nano swarms, snake bites, salvos. But they are a little bit earlier than what we've seen in a lot of other rounds.
I think they're very ready for it though. Look, there's 4 players already on this site, and they are trained in on that position. Now, as 2 fall, they think it'll be a little bit more free, a little bit more open, but Heretics, well, they couldn't be more wrong. Left with just 1, he's on the didn't look for those early fights, instead waiting for the wall to fall and taking the battles after. That means to Heretics, they can get in there, they can get that pit in play and lock down that control, leaving their utility passively to cover their back from Killjoy. This could be a very dangerous round, and a couple of spams, the only thing really standing in Heretics' way. And the fact that they are taking a long time. I thought by now we'd already see them in there, but they're waiting outside of B. I don't know if this is going to work the way they hope it will, as FNATIC still have 4 players close by.
I think also having the drone, also having Wingman as well, that's important. A quick pick, but still all of that delay utility is in place. 30 seconds. Now the mush comes through as well, that they're having to just wait out so much different pieces of utility that a risk could do it all. Hunter's Fury thrown in to try and find some damage as the Wingman goes for the plant. I don't know if it's going to plant. No, it's not. It's failed. And now they're stuck again. They have to go pushing. They have to go moving. MiniBoo lands a second shot, though. He might just be keeping them in the round, but there's the swing. Spike dropped once again. With 7 seconds left, Chronicle, all he has to do is try and drop. FNATIC have done really well to sort of disorientate them, and just look at the immediate rundown Heretics not feeling the burn just yet, as they will run it straight into their opponents. There's a lot of counter utility being put into play though. Still opportunities to try and fight this back, although has somehow managed to completely dodge that stun. He won't. Nobody even remotely close. Eventually the realization has to come through for the side of Heretics that they are on the wrong side of the map, and you mentioned it, how critical this pistol will have been. And now we look at MiniBoo and Benji and see what they can do with it.
When it comes to pistols, Heretics have usually been pretty good. But here, FNATIC definitely upping the challenge a little bit. This 3v2. Everyone tagged on that attacking side, but they've got the numbers and the unknown factor, the positions having to be cleared.
Didn't their pistol stats take a pretty big hit recently, though? Were they?
yeah.
They
Still
lost a
number
lot
one,
of them.
though. Still number one.
It says a lot about how good they've been. Grand final. A chance at the trophy. Damn, nice shot from MiniBoo, but again, the first kill might go the way of Heretics. But the second and the third go in the other direction. Boo has picked up the mantle of his brother, trying to do that little bit more. Some nice shots, but the round still looks favored. The man against them, though, maybe the last man you'd want to come up against here.
He's up close, he's ahead of the curve. He's taking crashies down, runs for the hill, and makes it round the corner. Plant will come through. But a real chance now. Only the one swarm grenade in play. And RieNs, I like the idea. The big wraparound he's going for. Hoping to catch his opponent off guard.
Classic.
He may well catch him off guard. Look at where Alpha's going. He's so focused on this path, on even it being a side push, but now he's spotted him. What a shot! What? RieNs! So close. Battle. I don't think he quite would have been right-clicking Alfajer from there now. They'll still have money for the next. Don't worry about that. It's not the biggest risk ever, but it gives them a huge opportunity. The opening pick already there is kaajak with another alpha, returning with the classic onto Woot, and all of a sudden, this round that had little to speak about in favor of FNATIC, just 2 rifles, now they've got 4. And there's only 2 rifles for Heretics, only 2 players left standing.
Benji's held the line at least for a little bit. He's managed to find a gap, but the trade was never going to not come through from that position. It now leaves Boo a gap to run through, but almost seeming like suicide if he was to try and get through that gap, knowing there's going to be somebody either to the left, to the right, or up above. And at the moment, it seems like the majority of them, the wall's at least giving him a gap to try and find around, but he's hoping for a fight. And just look at where FNATIC sit. They are all back passive, waiting patiently for a single tap to come through. And guess what? Those salvos are online once again. crashies, always so irritating in these scenarios that time is ever ticking, ever falling. And for Boo, I feel like at this stage it just has to be the retreat. And I think even the FNATIC players are starting to realize it. Look where crashies has got to. He's just trying to stop him getting out of there, wants to remove that gun, and that's exactly proved like Valorant. How difficult it could be to play. He does survive though, but well, his teammate has not. In fact, RieNs didn't even last long.
Man, now Woot's looking the wrong way again. It was kaajak to distract him last time. This time, he's the one surprising him. In control, and they go right in to the floor.
Highest ACS player. But he hasn't been in this game. Boo, though, will at least start things off with an opening pick.
The rest are sitting down with pistols. Space taken, but spotted. And on the way back, he's dead. Dead to rights. Good spam. Good opportunity to recover a weapon. Boaster tries to be the thorn in the side, but they've abandoned that control. Heretics with a 3 versus 5 in their favor. 3 weapons as well to work with. This is all that they need. And I like this. Immediately you see MiniBoo back off from that fight. He doesn't need to risk it. Just spotting for the info.
Trying to make sure that there's no gap to be had. You've also got the deep alarm bot, so even though it might look like B is open for business, that will give enough information. That's why Benji hasn't gone any further forward, wanting to make sure he stays within range. This might roost them a little bit, though. If that push-up will come in, they'll destroy the U2, and immediately, look at the rotation. Look how many people have just started running the other way. The problem is, how much time can be bought? Wu needs to just try and get one here, and he doesn't, but there's a Hunter's Fury on the other side, and that will do the job. That will clear everything out, and Boaster's late flank, well, it's too late.
Whoa, he almost gets taken down there by the Sheriff. RieNs going back for more. He'll be
seems like the rotation from the defensive side actually coming a little bit earlier. They have made that realization.
Monster on the loose.
And a good job that they're playing that bit more passive. Thrash is on its way. It's caught one, but MiniBoo's down below, ready to pounce. Boaster gets caught in mid as well. Really nicely played by Heretics, covering all their bases, defending the man that got caught by the Thrash. And now 3 players on site ready for the battle. FNATIC walking right in to the fray. I like kaajag's spot, but no one's giving him an angle. Oh, here we go. He's up and above. He's caught them in the ult. The trade comes in quick with MiniBoo shutting that down. Alpha all alone. He's been sensational so far. Gets the opportunity for one, but with 12 seconds left, that plant has to be stuck at this time, and the flank indeed should secure this round as he runs as well. The stuns go up on B. Gecko flash as well as they look to take that deep control. They see nobody and now sense it's an A play. The wall comes in from FNATIC, the utility being heard, but they're a little slow to get that plant down, and that's a problem. The Heretics have now rotated thanks to that early B play. They've got 4 players in position, ready to take that space. Ult pop, I believe, by MiniBoo. The Viper's pit from the attack, though, that's going to be tough to fight back through with Alpha instantly rezzed.
They were hoping to try and kill him off again. Alpha are actually now 1 away from the lockdown. He gets a pick, and that kill on Tim might actually end up helping out. Chronicle as well, just holding the line already. They're trying to get it. Actually, I think that nanoswarm has missed. It's bounced off, but it doesn't matter. The spams have done the work anyway, and now all that remains is Boo! He's landed a multitude of kills, looking
Close
for
it out. FNATIC have come into this series looking clean on map number 1. That was their pick, but it was Heretics who chose to fight them here on Icebox. A big round from Boo, sure. A 3. Pit securing B. It's allowing them to rotate more heavily, and that's being sensed by FNATIC. Turret broken from down below. Nano active, just so Benji could clear below, but he's worried about someone being in tube, and he should be. He spotted the shoulder, spotted the elbow, and takes Alfajer down, ready for the rest, but kaajak bests him, and now the B site seems open, but they're not committing just to it. They've heard the steps up close. They know that there's players just outside, and use the slow to get themselves into position. The plant with 12 seconds left, the snake bite to delay to give that bit more space, but they need to find some solid ground to fight from. Towards Snowman is where they're looking, but there's plenty of players waiting. In goes the Armageddon. It's caught one. RieNs is down. Woo! Forced into the open. And now the round seems to be in FNATIC's favor. A lot of ground to cover by MiniBoo, by Boo. The pit falls, and they know where he's coming from.